So hello everyone, I'm on here. We'll get to my review of In the Franxx episode 10. I think this will probably be my most important review. And if I have time next week, I'll do a tier video about this thing again, I think, with more some footage so on. Because this was a very, very important episode. I mean, really was right. It had absolutely no action. The most dramatic political episode so far. Right? Nothing has happened. But wow. This episode tells us so much about the universe of In the Franxx. So let's go through here. I watched it once more, right? And I think I have pretty good understanding of what's happening. I think it's very, very important. I hope you're going to like this review here and theory about In the Franxx. So, first of all, the kids are infected, right? All the children have some kind of infection when they were born. That's why they're all stuck in that white kind of containment room, right? Because they're all infectious. And that is, of course, the end where Zerome's mother were observing him from the outside. Right? It's clearly his mom. It's very, very heavily implied. Especially when he's like, can I be your friend? Tomodachi. And she's like, no, I can't be your friend because I am your. And then we get the typical like Nisekoi, whatever, typical drama thing where someone's like, I love you, and then the train passes by, right? And they're like, oh, you couldn't hear me. Yeah. So she's of course gonna tell him that no, I'm your mom, so that we can't be friends, your family, right? But she's interrupted by the buzzword, by the buzzing, right? Very, very anime. But so that's very, very clear. And as soon as the Ollie gets there, they're like, don't touch him, right? They're like, oh yeah, he can't, he's a victim as well, he's infected, right? So they all have this disease, which of course in some way is how they can control the mecha, right? How the mecha work on that, the disease, the virus, whatever they have inside their bodies. But there are all very two important things happening in this episode, which you have to think about as well. So, first of all, his mom, I don't say his mom, it's his mom. She's getting very exhausted, right? She's getting tired. We hear about the world. I'm talking about the world later. And why is that? Well, I think it's very clear. His mom is being tired when he is there, right? He's eating her energy. As a parasite, he can consume the energy around him. And that is why his mom is getting more and more exhausted. And she's like, no, I don't talk to people ever, and so on. Which might be true because it has some really weird theories to talk about later, as mentioned. But I think it's very, very clear. She's getting exhausted because he is parasiting on her energy. I think it's very, very heavily implied that is what's happening, right? And earlier on, when they were getting the medals, and of course, Zerome is the one that was like, oh yeah, I love Papa, and so on, right? He does not get a handshake, right? He's got a hand, and the guy will not touch him. Why is that? Because he's infected, right? And I know the guy there, the official medal giver, he knows that if you touch him, he's gonna drain some of his life force right there. So he knows that don't touch the infected kids, they are dangerous for us normal humans. And that of course goes back again to why they're all stuck in this kind of weird white room when all being observed. And they can only meet other children who also had the same disease because the adults couldn't be next to them because they were draining their life force, right? So that really comes all together there. Why they're in that room, why he was shaking his hand, why the mom was getting tired. I think that everything there is this disease, right? Now, exactly how that works with the mechas is kind of unclear, but I guess mainly because they can like drain each other from the life forces that connects to the mecha. In order the mecha actually drains the life force of the female pilot. If it takes damage, they take damage, right? So they connect by the kind of life force thing. And there's also this like bone marrow thing and cells and so on. Yeah, so it's something with connecting their bodies to it and having that disease that helps you with the mecha. The normal others can't do it, and I guess they have a lot of other children that sometimes are born with the disease. Or maybe the whole papacy, maybe they created it. That is a very potential thing though. Maybe the papa actually, manufactured the infection, right? So they will have like weapons to use. That's a very high possibility. But generally though, I think it's very, very much shows here though that the children grew up as so with Ichigo and Goro apart as well. They all grew up in this white room because no adults could touch them, right? Since they were born, or they could touch them, but they would be weakened, right? As the guy, the diffuse touched them, yeah. So it all really comes together really well there, and yeah, that's kind of the obvious episode there, how it works out. Now let's talk about the actual kind of the world. And the world is obviously horrible, boring. And I think it's interesting because the children, even though they probably will die, right? She's like, yeah, you probably will grow up, kid. Even if you have about that, it's pretty clear that the children have a better life, right? Excluding potential death all the time. But if we exclude that thing, they seem to have a better life because they actually enjoy stuff. They argue with each other, right? Yeah, especially Zerome does with Miku, and they have like a normal life. Where all the adults living in the I don't know, the plantation world, the facility world. They are like, oh, nutrition? I only eat food to get nutrition. I only taste, yeah. Oh, happiness? No, we have this happiness machine. They're all slaves, right? They're the Matrix, pretty much. They're just living in a big machinery, right? I think that's something that's obviously been very hinted before as well. And I think Zerome exploring it is very important, as he can barely find anyone. And that again also kind of why that would be his mom, right? I think it's very, very obvious because he's like, oh, there's no one here. Yeah, I can't find anyone. They're all empty. Yeah, there's no one in this world. Like, what is wrong with this planet, really? Like, what is wrong here? And then suddenly there is one female that is kind of following him, right? So she's kind of, yeah. Why would she do that? Well, because she knows that code 666 is important to her, right? So that's why she's, it's obviously his mom, right? That she heard of getting a medal. She will go out there trying to find her son, and probably just like trying to look at him as a teenager, right? But want to see him, she went out there to just that's my kid. And of course, when he got injured, she would go and save him and try to heal him and so on, instead of actually report him right away, because it's her kid, right? She wants to talk to him before. I think it's very, very clear what's happening there. So that if she's not his mom, I would be enormously surprised. I mean, right away that she is the only person out there in the city pretty much at all, right? She's the only one actually trying to go around living as a human, and everyone's just in the machines or whatever. Just from that alone, there makes it feel very much that she's probably related to him, right, in some way. So his mom, yeah. So already from that, it's a given pretty much. But that again though goes back to them all being just indoctrinated by the Papa, right? I think it's very important to say every review, but we see in the beginning here, the Papas are like, whoa, let's give them rewards. That is good, that's a good human thing, yeah. So clearly, though, the Papas, I have this theory, which I don't want to build too much on, but the Papa itself might be aliens, right? They don't understand humans. But it feels generally, though, that the Papas don't get humans right. They're kind of like, let's give them rewards. That's like a historical, traditional thing. I read in the book here, yeah, like they don't seem to have any emotions, right? But that, however, though, could be because the Papas are themselves maybe indoctrinated in the whole system itself, grew up in the system, right? So they're also like his mom there. They also might be like, oh, why would we eat tasty food? We just need nutrition. Yeah, like why do we have this thing? We have a machine to give us happiness or lust or whatever. Yeah, we don't need all the things. So that also could be generally they're living that life. They can't really relate to the children, which they usually let be loose because that empowers the mechas. It's our normal horny kids, right? That makes them stronger in the mecha, so they can't really like make them into machinery things. But I think one thing very important in it as well, which I felt generally with the whole anime, is that it's a big machine, right? It's a facility more than anything else. So all the humans probably do whatever they do, and then they go home and do like, oh, happiness machine. Yeah, they're very much stuck in that machinery. Yeah, and I mean both machinery as the literal machinery, but also the machinery of the classic thing there, when humans just go to the job, they do the assembly line thing, right? They sit there and do this thing like that for 10 hours, then they go home, do the machine, wake up, next day, go back to like that. I think most humans are like that, right? It seems very clear that all humans are very much just like biological machinery in a way, right? To just drive this whole weird society. So I think that's very, very heavily implied here, that they all are not just living with that machine, but they also are in a major machine. I think it's very important to think about that in the universe here of Darling in France. That as with CO2 is like, oh, it's lifeless. Yeah, they're all just part of machinery. Yeah, they're all just like next machines. It's very much not the Matrix that they're all dreaming it, but they're all kind of like fueling the machinery. Yeah, they're all kind of living there, fueling probably the whole system of the magma draining and so on. And it's somewhat important for the Papas to control it, right, of course. But it's probably a very low chance of revolt, though, as all the adults, and I guess they have kids that are not infected. But yeah, everyone else that lives in the cities, they have like no emotions. So they probably wouldn't do revolts. Because they're all like, oh, why would I rebel? I don't like this life. I don't hate it. It's just a life. Yeah, life is just life. They have like no lust, right, for any up or down, giving them very low chance of actually fighting the Papa so they can control the planet. So yeah, it's a lot of those things there And it's going to be very interesting to see when they reveal how they all get into this world, right? I mean, we know that the planet kind of, falled around our time, right? They find that city in episode 7, right, and 6 and so on, and we saw them doing their stuff. So we kind of know that, yeah, the planet was, not really doomed, but almost doomed around our time. So we probably figure out how they survive and created this weird, emotionless machinery world, which we all live in now. Definitely. But I think it's, again, as I always say, I think it's very clear that the klaxxoures machinery things are connected to the humans or the papas or whatever, right? They're clearly probably created by them or something like that. It's something like that. It's very heavily implied. But anyway, one other thing also mentioned, of course, they have to the labs again. Of course, they are testing the children every month or whatever, seeing what's happening in the disease. And then also, to me, because this is more theory now. I mean, before I explain, it's clear his mom and that's very clear. Like, that is factually what is, right? But one thing I would say that with the whole experiment thing is that they probably man-made it. So this is more theory now, but I think that they probably created the infection, right, to get weaponry and so on, right? But it feels very much so. It's still like, oh, this testing of plantation there, they have more power because they're more free and so on. But also, she can do this thing, and yeah, like they seem to be very much creating that. So I would think that she's probably some kind of man-made thing right here too, right there. Like taking a klaxxoure's blood with her or something, infecting maybe a female, giving birth to some kind of half demon thing. It's probably something like that. Yeah. I get the feeling that she is probably not. Her father is probably more like a test tube thing, right? That's what I'm feeling right now. Definitely, given the whole like, oh, we are just like man-made bioweaponry much more than anything else, and if the children are bioweapons more than anything. That being said, though, that his mom, did she do it on purpose? Like, did she take something to make it? I don't think so. It could be that they used to infect people in general, and like what children were born, or maybe every kid is actually been infected since a date, but she was kind of old. That also could be a thing that they had. Nope, every children being born after this date has to go to the fight. Could be a thing as well, but it also be who would then grow out and become the next humans. But yeah, it could be a thing as well. But yeah, overall, a really interesting episode. It had really low action. It was very much set up though that Zerome was gonna do it, so I liked it a lot. Yeah, we see him in the beginning. It's very foreshadowing. He's the kind of, I can kill it myself. Yeah, like we get that thing, and then later on, of course, because he is the one that loves the papacy the most. So I was like, man, he's obviously gonna be the one discovering some stuff now. He's the one that has the most trust in them. So he's gonna be the one that gets a shattered delusion. And we see the ending was really happy, so we're talking about it. And of course, Series 2 is showing Franxx. So going more for monster, I suppose, which might be important, probably be important, but she hates the lab things and so on, right? She probably had a thing, and the one thing why is that we see in this episode or episodes, the older children, right, they grew up in their own major labs where they all tested this parasite on them. She probably had her own lab, right? Like a single little kid in her own little world. Very likely, or she murdered everyone. Yeah, either she killed all the ones probably, or someone killed her, battery or thing, or she was just growing up in her own little white room, right, completely isolated. I'm guessing isolation. So he's probably like, no, I hate lab things. With all the ones like, yeah, let's go and trade in the labs. We're also fun in the labs. We grew up in the labs. She's more like, no, I hate labs. Those are really boring. That's probably the reason why she hates the labs, right? Because she was probably living in complete isolation compared to the other children. We all kind of share this parasite living rooms. So yeah, I think it was a great episode. I hope you like my review here, my theory. But I think there's a lot of points to why, I think it's very, very clear that his mother is very, very clear. The infection is, of course, important, and like the handshake and hit do so on, also very important to build that up, that they kind of drain the life force. I think it's very obvious he was making her exhausted, and also his father, of course, would be the one in the machine then, and they're all the machines, right? So I hope you liked this review, and I'll see you guys next week.